Everybody, Mimi Lazaro here at Albany Saratoga Speedway with your feature winner, the big show, Bobby Varin. Bobby, congratulations first of all. Secondly, you're following for so many laps the promoter of this race, Brett Hearn, who has been so successful here this year. Were you conserving your tires at all, or were you just trying to follow him and learn? Tell me a little bit about your strategy.
Well, I started watching his lines, watching where he was running, and then I did that for a few laps and got a nice rhythm where he was going. Tried not to spin the tires too much, tried to maintain them. Knew that we didn't have anything in the short run for him, so let our cars start coming to us, because we had a fairly decent long green flag run, and I felt confident that our car was better in the long run, and we had a couple shots on the restarts. We were a thorn in his side, but he was able to beat us on the restarts. But during that long green flag run, we got into some lap traffic. The hole opened up. I pulled the trigger. We got the lead, and then it was just try and make all the right decisions at just the right times, and we pretty much did that. Maybe I could have done some things a little bit better, but you only have a split second to make your decisions, and there's a couple of close calls. So the lap traffic was extremely difficult.
Now, I noticed going through the turns that you really weren't hanging it out there at all. You were really trying to drive through the turns and keep the wheels under you, and I think that really helped you with your momentum.
Yeah, I was trying to, have the tires lock into the racetrack and let it roll through the center and hopefully get a good exit. That was my strategy behind that. I could see Brett was hanging the tail a little bit, and I said, well, if we can not hang our tail, maybe we can keep the tires a little bit cooler, and maybe we can get a run at them.
And how much did you conserve your tires?
Well, you can't conserve too much here. You got to kind of rock and roll, especially when you're in the lap traffic. You got to pull the trigger. You got to squeeze the throttle to get by them guys. But we followed some lap cars for quite a few laps, and rather than trying to thread the needle, and I played it a little bit conservative in the traffic. But when it was go time, and I saw somebody, I had to, get a little bit aggressive and get after it.
Now, it's a warm night tonight. I know it's physically challenging to be in that car when it is so hot, but how mentally challenging is this? You really got to set up these lap cars to get by them, because it seemed like at some points they were helping you, and at some points they were a real big disadvantage.
Yeah, it was pretty difficult, The only problem, you'd roll by one of the lap cars, on your entry, you show them the car. Sometimes you feel like, maybe they'd be a little courteous or whatever, and some of the guys would be, as they knew that was a leader, but, others thought maybe there was another lap car that was, up on them, or they didn't see the lap flag, or whatever the case may be. Run you hard and dipped off the backstretch a couple of times. That got a little scary, but what can you do? You just got to keep on, you stay focused, catch the next lap, race the clock, get it done.
Long distance races seem to be your thing, man. I knew a guy a while ago that used to really win every single long distance race, and I mean, you won the Vic this year. You've won how many New Yorkers? Tell me a little bit about these long distance.
Well, it's like I said earlier. I like the longer shows. I think it brings to light, the car setup, what the crew does, driving ability, hitting your marks, maintaining your tires. There's a lot more to running well at an extra distance race than there is to you running well in a 35 lapper. Now, don't get me wrong, you still got to get up on the car and wheel it for those 35 laps. And believe me, you got to wheel sometimes even harder. At these longer distance races, you don't have to push as hard, as quick. You have a longer window, and you just start watching the clock, not watching the clock, but minding the clock, and just get every single lap and every tenth of a second, every lap that you can, get yourself a little bit of distance, stay smooth and consistent, and, maintain your tires, and then the driver can also get into a rhythm of things, and that's where I feel like, that our team shines in the extra distance races is, catching the rhythm, having the car set up, come in, there's a lot of, hitting your marks and staying consistent.
Now, one more question before I let you go and go celebrate this much-deserved win. You were here a few weeks ago, sitting in the stands, watching, and I think you mentioned something about not racing here, and now you're here and you totally kicked butt. Do you take back your words? And even that, did it help you to come here and watch the race that night?
Well, Albany Saratoga has a rich history, and to come over here and race is a privilege. A lot of great race car drivers. One of my heroes, Jumpin' Jack Johnson, has won a lot of races at this racetrack, and I actually learned how to drive this track by following him as much as I could. The racetrack is a little narrow, and it's very difficult to maneuver on. I don't know really what to say. We were supposed to come with a 00 car, fired up the motor last night, had a knock in it, gave a call about 11:30 last night to one of Andy's guys and told him, hey, listen, I got the tires, but I don't have a car. So if you want to go over there, we can take the big block. We haven't run this car. I haven't run this car since we won with it at Glenridge. So, it's a good car, and Andy's a great guy, so to bring home a win for him feels really good.
Absolutely, and Andy's been involved with racing for a long time, so I'm sure it feels really good to have someone like him behind you and supporting
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, I've got two of the best car owners in the business, Dave Cruikshank and Andy Romano.
Yep, absolutely. Well, Bobby, congratulations. Happy to see you here. Everybody, if you weren't here, you should have been here. It was a heck of a race. Mimi Lazaro and Mike Petrucci for Race Pro Weekly.